Sometimes the greatest strength is not what others can see, but the quiet endurance that keeps you standing when no one is watching. You may not realize it, but you have already become so much stronger than you once believed. And now, it is time for you to know that you are no longer the same person you used to be. This message is not a coincidence. It is not for everyone, but only for those whose soul is ready, open, and strong enough to receive it. If these words do not align with you, simply let them go. Take only the energy that uplifts you and leave the rest. But if even a part of this message touches your heart, then trust me, this is not just a collection of words. It is a call from the universe to your true self. Let us begin. At times, you may wonder why life feels unfair, why challenges arrive endlessly without pause. Yet behind all the exhaustion, disappointment, and emptiness you felt, there is one truth you might have overlooked: you never stopped standing. Maybe you have cried silently when everyone thought you were fine. You carried a weight that almost broke you, yet you still showed up, greeted others with a smile, and tried to be present for those around you, even when you yourself needed comfort. That is not weakness, that is strength. Because only strong souls can appear calm while their heart is in pieces. You have chosen silence when you could have chosen anger. You have chosen peace not because you were powerless, but because you knew not everything is worth fighting with rage. And that is maturity. Strength is not just about fighting, but about knowing when to let go. Look back at the things you once thought would destroy you: betrayal, rejection, failure. You lost direction, people, even hope. And yet, you chose to rise, slowly but surely. You learned to soothe yourself. You learned not to depend on validation from others. That is where your true strength lies. You may not notice because you are focused on what you have not achieved. But, from another perspective, you've already overcome so much. How many times did you want to give up, but didn't? How many times were you hurt, yet chose not to hate? That is spiritual strength, unseen by ordinary eyes, but felt deeply in energy. You are stronger than you realize. The universe now wants you to know this, so you stop underestimating yourself. You are not being left behind, you are being refined. Perhaps in the past you sacrificed yourself too often for others. You feared being left, being called selfish, or being disliked. You adapted so much that you forgot who you truly were. But now, you are realizing life is not about making everyone comfortable. It is about being honest and whole within yourself. Notice the subtle change. You no longer feel the need to explain everything. You no longer defend yourself to those who never truly listened. You have learned not everyone deserves to know your story. That is growth. You no longer delay your happiness, waiting for others to change. Instead, you've realized happiness is not something you wait for, but something you build from within. You stopped hoping for those who kept hurting you. You stopped forcing connections that no longer had direction. You began choosing yourself, not out of selfishness, but out of awareness. Self-love is not a sin. The old you wanted to please everyone, always feeling guilty to say no. But the new you has boundaries. You know when to say enough, when to stay silent, when to walk away, and when to protect yourself, even from those closest to you. You may not yet be the person you dream of, but you are no longer who you were yesterday, last month, or last year. You are changing in silence, in pain, in the stillness of nights only you and the universe know. No one saw your process, but that doesn't make it less real. Because you kept moving forward even unseen, you have grown stronger than before. Growth is not always grand. Sometimes it simply feels like walking away from things you once thought mattered. But when you begin to truly recognize yourself, you are walking toward light. So today, take a moment and tell yourself, I have changed, I have grown, I am not who I used to be. This is not arrogance, this is truth, and it deserves to be celebrated. You may not see everything clearly yet, but deep inside you feel it. A subtle pull, as if the universe whispers, you were not created just to survive. You were created to grow. Slowly, you are beginning to believe your life can be more. You once felt stuck, repeating the same path. But recently, curiosity has returned about old dreams you buried, passions you ignored, and a direction more aligned with your soul. You may not have all the answers, but you've begun asking the right questions. And questions born from awareness will open doors that once seemed closed. You are not lost. You are at the beginning of a shift. You are making room for something greater, simplifying, releasing what no longer fits, opening to possibilities beyond what you once imagined. Your vision of the future does not need to be perfect. What matters is you can imagine it living in your own joy, walking in your soul's true path. These questions are not random. They are signs the universe is awakening you. Your journey is far from over, it is only just beginning. You once relied on guidance from others, waiting for someone to tell you where to go, what to choose, and who to trust. But today you are learning there is no compass more accurate than your intuition. Praise no longer makes you fly too high, and criticism no longer drowns you. Your center is no longer outside, is within. This is the moment to become the leader of your own life. Leadership doesn't mean having all the answers, but taking full responsibility for your path. You no longer blame the past, others, or circumstances. You may not have the perfect road, but you are present, aware, and responsible. That is power. You are learning your own patterns when emotions take control, when fear pushes you, and when silence guides you. You are no longer reactive. You are conscious. Decisions from awareness lead to different outcomes than decisions from pain. Even when everyone else is loud, you listen within. You dare to choose what feels right for your soul, even if it's unpopular. That is true leadership, requiring no followers, only honesty. You also honor your energy. Not every door needs opening. Not every invitation requires a yes. You know peace is more important than appearing busy. You know not every opportunity is a blessing, some are traps in disguise. To see clearly, you need sensitivity born from awareness. You may not have everything yet, but you now have direction. You know when to pause, when to continue, when to retreat. You no longer need outside validation, because you have found your own voice stronger than applause. Do not underestimate this progress, because once you can lead yourself, there is no path you cannot walk. Not because it's easy, but because you know who you are and where you're going. You've been doubted, overlooked, even abandoned. Yet you are still here, not just surviving, but growing. And though you've grown strangely, you still doubt yourself, feeling unworthy, as if you must achieve more to prove your worth. But you have already surpassed so many versions of your old self. You don't need perfection to feel deserving. You only need honesty to admit you have grown, and you deserve to be proud. It is time to stop hiding your light. Not every flame needs to be dimmed for others' comfort. The world doesn't need more people shrinking their potential. The world needs you to stand, to speak, to shine, to be who you truly are. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It is walking forward despite it. Doubt costs you a life half-lived. Courage gives you a life that expands. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Courage creates its own moment. Begin what you've delayed. Declare your dream. Take the first step. Don't wait. Don't let your past dictate how brightly you can shine. You are worthy of being seen, of being recognized, and most of all, of recognizing yourself. So today, stand before yourself. Look into your eyes in the mirror and say, I am enough. I am capable. I am worthy. I will no longer hide, because when you dare to believe in yourself, the universe dares to open doors. Have you ever paused to truly see who you are now? The one listening here is not the same person who once cried in the dark, not knowing how to go on. You didn't notice because you were too busy healing, enduring, and rising again. But the universe sees, and it tells you now, you are no longer driven by the same wounds or fears. You have grown, you have transformed. True strength is not always loud. Sometimes it is one deep breath, one small step, one brave choice made in silence. Look at yourself now. You can embrace yourself. You no longer force others to understand you first, understand yourself. You no longer crave validation. You know your worth. You no longer bend to fit the world, you create a world from within. You are no longer ruled by doubt or pain. You know life is not just survival, it is about rising and shining. Take a moment to honor your journey. Thank the version of yourself who once fell but chose not to stay down. Appreciate every part of you, even the most fragile, for all of it has built your strength today. Even if you feel far from your destination, remember, you have not stood still. In silence, you have become strong. In stillness, you have grown sharp. And now, the world will see who you truly are. Not because you need to prove anything, but because you finally realize you deserve to shine. You deserve to live fully. You deserve to walk as your true self, no longer hiding your light. You are stronger, you are greater. And now it is time to believe and to truly live.